We're going to talk about change, the one constant.
Very.
In fact, you said, well, in an email, you said change that polarizes either delights or we withdraw internally or we come out swinging. So turns out us humans can have quite a lot of responses to change.
We can. And to probably put a context to it, change happens all the time, everywhere we go. But I think we get stuck in some situations. So it's not that we're not adaptable, but just some things that happen that really cause us to reflect on, where do I sit with this? And I'm thinking about my own kind of practice, professional practice in counselling.
Yep.
People come with change, either it's too much change, not enough change, or they're stuck.
Yeah. And that would be the common theme, really?
Yeah.
When you come to counselling?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. I've never sort of boiled it down to that before. And it's interesting, isn't it? Some change, like it might be something that just an announcement gets made in a business place or maybe the government or whoever, wherever. And like, it's really interesting what you're saying because people's responses can be so different. Like some people, I'm just thinking about a scenario, just get really offended and just take it personally. And even though it impacts them, we can actually make it all about ourselves when it's actually about a much bigger picture.
I think we make it about ourselves because we are attached to those ideas which create a safety for us.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about my own family, and I've learned over the years how you present change. With some in the family, they're just, yeah, it's great.
Sweet as.
Yep. But you deliver that same kind of message to some, and it's overwhelming. And so I've learnt to build this bridge to change, and not present it as a fait accompli, but say, this is what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Work your way up to it.
Yes. And some people just need to take time to kind of like process, what is that about for me? But if I present change to you as it may be a fait accompli, but you've got no options, that's when it becomes polarizing. But I think if you're a business or an organization that is undergoing change, or in the family there's going to be change, a very well-known psychologist, Gordon Neufeld out of Canada, who works with children, said there's some kind of very interesting concept of building a bridge too. Now, with being parents, we don't always do it well, but it's not about the rupture or the disconnection, it's about the repair.
Okay.
And the repair is the bridge. So how do we help people through our bridge manage the change that's coming or about to come?
And how do we manage ourselves?
That's a very good question, because yes, we're a part of that. And sometimes the change comes like we have knowledge that nobody else does. But we maybe decide what people are going to tolerate or not tolerate. So we end up more often than not just giving it as a fait accompli.
Yeah.
But if you can build the story to why the change is there, why the change is necessary, and bring people along. I'm a big advocate, like, I don't want to do this alone. Bring people along with you in whatever this change is.
Yeah. I mean, businesses rebranding. I mean, here we go as an example. Countdown went back to Woolworths. Some people would have felt strongly about that, just as an example,
Yeah.
But interesting, when you said to me in that email how change can polarize, it can delight, we can withdraw internally, we can come out swinging. It's not a human failing to have those different responses.
Oh, no, not at all, because I'm talking about we either agree or disagree. And in either agreeing or disagreeing, we obviously have a kind of a idea about why we're disagreeing.
Yeah.
Can I voice my disagreement? Can I speak into that? Can I share that?
Will I be heard?
Exactly. What's it like not to be heard when we're grieving? That's the thing. So we have this idea about what we can or can't do, and we come out swinging. It might look really bad, but we come out swinging because actually I'm hurting.
Yes.
There's a pain here. And I think that's the message for, I don't know, any organisation or family that's undergoing change is like, okay, how do we bring people along, knowing that not everyone, no matter what or how much we've considered this, is not going to agree.
Yeah. Yeah, it's quite fascinating actually. Because I think with change, and I mean, we could be talking about any kind of change, right?
Yeah.
Your partner might have just died or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You've lost a parent, you know.
Mm.
We've had that experience.
Mm-hmm.
It does take time, right? And you can have a number of different feelings to the change. Like, I mean, what do they call it? The cycle of grief, and
Yes.
there's anger and there's fear and there's denial and there's all sorts of things, and it's so intense and different for other people, different for people. But you sort of have to. Maybe the one constant in change, whatever the change is, that whatever we're feeling, we should give ourselves permission to feel it, right?
100%.
And process it.
Yeah.
Rather than just being, oh, I feel like this, and then, like you said, withdraw internally or whatever it is, but actually work out for ourselves what's going on.
And I think that's probably the position most counsellors find themselves in, is that people come to counselling because they feel they can't voice, and we are a listening ear, but it's quite normal, you know, to have an opinion, to have such strong feelings. It's what we do, and again I put it back to we are attached to our ideas, and our ideas give us a sense of safety and security, and when we are forced with change, it dislodges, like, where am I going to be safe?
Yeah.
What am I going to do?
Yeah, what's going to ground me?
Yeah, again. And I don't know. So this is where the bridge comes in. Let's lay the foundations of the where to.
Okay.
And then, okay, I've got a picture.
Yeah.
I'm not alone. And I might not agree with it, but I can walk a bridge. I can't walk a canyon.
Gosh, that's good. Say that again.
I can walk a bridge, but I can't walk a canyon.
Yeah. I guess at the end of the day, it's about empowerment, really, isn't it? That we feel, you know, like the rug's being pulled out from underneath our feet, whatever the change is, but that we can just be responsible for the next moment or the next day. And then if we are somebody who's in a position of leadership, like you say, that we're creating a space that we're allowing people to have those many different responses. Do you think as a culture, as Kiwis, I mean, you're very busy with your counselling, so it kind of makes me feel that perhaps we're not. But are we any good at giving people space to adjust to change and to perhaps have some responses that we don't particularly like?
Well, the short answer is I think we are facing a lot more change more quickly today than probably in past generations. And so we can manage a change, but if we get multiple kind of changes happening at once that we were, I would say, not designed to kind of work with. Yes, absolutely. And so that's why I would attribute more anxiety to, more depression with, and so it kind of stretches the conditions of our psychological well-being. So I think we're all facing it, but I just think there's an overload. And I mean, I've stopped watching the news.
I don't watch it. I'm usually still at work at that time anyway. But yeah, how I would manage the overwhelm for that is, well, I hear the news headlines in the studio here. I read, I go on to the Herald website or whatever, you know, I scan stuff. I feel responsible to try and keep up to date, especially with my job. But I do find it kind of overwhelming to listen and watch the news. It's kind of too much for me.
Yeah, and if you look at every story, it's about change.
Oh, gosh.
And then we, as a watcher, have this reflection of, well, what can I do about that? Or if I kind of zone out, does that say something about me? Does that say I'm not caring? And like, or do I get rage about, like, how can this be? How can this be?
I'm a keyboard warrior.
Yeah. So that's not always the best avenue, keyboard warriors status. But again, there's so much change. Life has become very complicated and complex. there's lots of avenues for counselling for sure, but a listening ear does the soul good.
Amen to that. And perhaps if we haven't got a listening ear, someone that we can speak to, that at the very least, I mean, not the least, because it would be completely awesome, that we can be a listening ear to someone else, right?
Yeah.
And then there I am talking over the top of you, not listening. But giving people space, right? We don't have to solve all their problems or have the answer to the solution, but just holding space can really help with going through change. Hence, people going to counselling. But if you've got a good friend that you can speak to too, is always good.
Well, the counselling is not advice, and it's not about giving advice, but it is about a holding space going, okay, these are the concerns, these are the interests, these are the things that are happening. How do we help people kind of navigate that, kind of externalize what's going internally?
Yeah.
To share it.
This has personally been such a helpful conversation. It's like I can sort of just put everything, the world, into one box, and the lid of it says change. No wonder myself gets overwhelmed sometimes. And
me too.
Yeah.
Me too. And that's normal. I don't like to use the word normal. That's us human condition.
Nature.
Yep.
Yeah.
We do.
Any final thoughts?
Change happens all the time. You're going to feel moved either towards it or against it. Let me encourage you to build a bridge.